Mike, you're fresh off the teleconference for Penn State talking to Bill O'Brien. Did he have anything interesting to add?
Well, it was an interesting press conference.
He doesn't always.
But he doesn't always. But it was very unusual. You would think with Ohio State coming up, there would be a lot of specific questions about the opponent, a lot of specific questions about the team and the game. Somehow it kind of got off the rails, and it wasn't O'Brien's fault. I think it was to some extent of the questions. He was talking about quarterback coaches who have influenced him over the years. He was talking about his playing days at Brown so it wasn't a particularly newsy press conference, but it was a pretty good one. He did say Ryan Kaiser, the safety who has had a hand injury, he was the holder on kickoffs and stuff. He's not going to be the holder, but he's a full go to play. So he's probably not 100%. Ben Klein, the linebacker from York County, who's kind of their number 4 linebacker, didn't sound like he was 100%, but he's going to play too in some role. And Zach Zwinnak is going to play. He didn't say who's going to start at running back, but he said Zach Zwinnak and Belton are both going to play. So as far as the newsy stuff about the team, that's about covers it. Yeah.
And some of that with O'Brien is crazy like a fox. It's smart to get him off track. Even talking about his former coaches might be a way to diffuse from getting too much into Ohio State and giving out sound bites and clips.
Right.
Anything with Akeel Lynch to come up at all?
No.
Okay.
No, it didn't. And
just curious why he hasn't played.
Well,
I think it's because he's not blocking enough.
Last week on the Big Ten press conference, it did come up, and he just said, we went into the Michigan game planning to use all 3. Belton kind of got on a roll, and we just kind of didn't go to Lynch. But, I mean, I think you could have worked Lynch in a little earlier.
All right. Yeah. Let's work Ohio State a little bit earlier. What is it about Ohio State that makes them so good? And tell me about who they have.
Well, they have 2 quarterbacks. One of them, the guy who's really the guy, is Braxton Miller. He's more of a runner and a little bit less of a passer, but I think he's gotten better at passing. And he's just a really athletic guy who can make plays. And O'Brien called him one of the top 5 players in the country. That may be, pre-week stuff a little bit, but he is a very, very athletic player. And then they have a running back, Carlos Hyde, who's like a 6 foot 240 tough guy. And I watched their game with Iowa last week. It was tied in the second half. Iowa gave them a real fight at Columbus, and those 2 guys, Hyde and Miller, both just made tremendously athletic plays to kind of get them over the top in that game. They have outstanding individuals. They have more athletes than anybody else in the Big Ten. They're the number 4 team in the country. They've won, is it 19 in a row?
I think it's 19 in a row now.
They've won 19 straight games. They're undefeated under Urban Meyer. So, I mean, this is a real challenge for Penn State. It's not like playing Alabama, I don't think. It's not like playing even Florida State, based on what I saw Saturday night of Florida State, but it is a big challenge for Penn State.
I don't think Ohio State's played a lot of great opponents.
They have not.
19-0. I mean, they played the Michigans and the Wisconsins of the world, but that non-league schedule, I think even this year, is weaker than Penn State's.
Yeah, I think so, too.
That does not mean I think Penn State's going to win this game. I think it could be close. Yeah. What's Vegas say right now?
Well, it's 14.5.
Which surprises me.
It's a big number.
I think Penn State just playing Michigan with Gardner at quarterback, and one skill set he has, and I think he might be a little bit better passer than what Braxton Miller is, will help them contain him a little bit, be used to that kind of running athletic quarterback. And I think last year, if Penn State would have used the game plan against Ohio State last year they had against Michigan of containing the quarterback and making him have to throw, they probably could have beat Ohio State last year. But Miller got loose too much last year.
This feels to me like Penn State's getting Ohio State at a good time, based on both of their schedules and kind of where they are. Now, O'Brien said a thing that I think is absolutely accurate. When you've won 19 games in a row, they've had a lot of games where they've been in trouble at halftime, or they've been in trouble late. When you won 19 games in a row and you're undefeated under your coach, you have a lot of confidence. If we're losing at halftime, we'll go in, we make these adjustments will work, and we'll come out and win the game, is the attitude and the mindset of the team. I think Ohio State has that going for them in a big way, probably as much as anybody in the country.
What are the keys for Penn State getting a win on Saturday?
Well, if you remember the Michigan game, other than Devin Gardner creating on his own, the quarterback for Michigan, they got nothing in the ground game. I don't think they have anybody quite like Carlos Hyde. But I think the key is make Braxton Miller play quarterback, as John Butler, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, said about Gardner. I think that's a big key to it. I think you throw a lot at him, you make him tentative, you don't let him run around like crazy. Some of it will be spying, you know. I'm sure they'll have lots of blitzes and stuff planned for that. I think that's the key, because Ohio State is not great defensively. I think Penn State's going to be able to score a little bit.
It should be interesting. I think Penn State's coaches and players are going to need another week off after this game, too.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I mean, they had 2 byes in 4 weeks, and that was actually the question that I asked O'Brien was, it's kind of weird, did you approach this bye differently than the previous one? And he said, yeah, we did. We did less physical stuff. We rested the starters. We did a lot of meetings, a lot of self-scouting, a lot of let's look at this and see where we are and kind of thing. So yeah, it is a little different.
You wrote down one of your columns this last week saying this could have come up at the best time to have this bye again.
I don't even know if I can fully explain that, but that's how it feels to me. I think this is a really intriguing time for Penn State to be going out there.